The day a pack of rabid wolves on Viagra went to a daycare. That's the project I'm working on. And yes, the title is what the book is about. So, I've been making these posts recently about working on a project, writing this project, and the daily word count or whatever. But I haven't really spoken about what the project's about or even where it came from. So, I figured that for those of you who are strange enough to watch it and then get curious about what I'm talking about, I'll give you a rough breakdown on what I'm working on. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm Jason Dawn. I'm the writer of Blood Bag, a Floridian love story, probably one of the most disturbing, disgusting books ever written. Trying to see if I have a copy sitting around, and of course I don't. But it is a self-published splatterpunk or extreme horror novel that has, I think it's 2 pages worth of trigger warnings. After I wrote this book and I self published it, and I think it was 2022, I'm really bad with dates, but I posted this book, I got it out there. I sat and I talked with a friend who told me that it's really cool that I can write a book, but there are certain topics I'm just not allowed to touch on. And of course, these topics were children and animals. You know, the dog is not allowed to die at the end, and you never touch on children. It's just a faux pas taboo you just do not do. So, of course, I told them, I can. Stop telling me what I can and can't do. I'm a petulant child, and I will do whatever it is that you tell me I can't do. They continue to tell me I can't do it because it's evil, it's bad, it's whatever. So I said, I'm going to do it now. I told you not to tell me not to. I'm going to. And then I said to myself, I'm going to get very drunk one weekend and I'm just going to write a quick short story that does this just to get it out of my system and out of the way. Then I wound up posting the title into a Facebook group, and people got upset. Yay, upset sells. But the problem became that a friend said, if you're going to do this, at least do it with meaning. So I said, okay. So my drunken weekend, I did get out, I think, 10,000 words in that weekend. I hoped to hit 20,000, but I hit 10,000 in a weekend, and I got this story started. Then I continued writing it, and then I continued writing it some more. And it quickly spiraled into, I believe it's 40,000 words, and it wasn't done. And I had chosen, because this was just a fun project, I had chosen to use other writers' names in it. Oftentimes, we'll do that inside of the indie world as a way of paying homage to those that we know, our friends. We'll make fun of them in it. And I had fans' names used inside of the book also. Then one of the named authors turned out to be a very bad man. Um, he had done some predatory things, and I believe right now maybe in jail. And his name was all over the book. And that took this project that I was going to just pump and dump and throw out into the world just for fun, and I put it on a shelf and it gathered dust for months at a time. It had already been a couple months into working on this project. Like I said, I had gotten up to like 40 something thousand words, and but I didn't really want to continue it once all of this started happening in the writing world, the writing drama that tends to happen when an author is outed as a problem, especially one who you're kind of close to. And having them associated with the project in any way could make me feel culpable, and I didn't want that. So I let the project sit and I thought about it and I reopened it. I wound up changing all the names. Um, and I continued to work on it and look at it, and it changed a little. So the project was initially just meant to be exploitive fun, but when that friend had said to actually put some thought behind the project, I guess I wound up putting a lot of thought behind the project, and the entire book became a meta commentary on the extreme horror scene in general. So it is an extreme horror novel about extreme horror, and it's at points almost a literary novel, which is weird to say inside of a book that does feature. I don't even know if I can say some of the things without getting completely blocked by any algorithm. which is the kind of stuff it has. To on the lighter side, it has dismemberment. On the lighter side, it has um, skull penetration with objects. It takes things that you might see in American Psycho and it amps them up. It's Terrifier plus in a way, but it also does so through a comical lens using furries and maps. Mature attracted people, or NAMBLA is another way that you might know them. And this is all happening inside of a hotel that has a daycare. It's all a convergence story. So when I went back into exploring this story, I got more excited in it, thinking of it through an allegorical lens of these characters aren't representing the characters within the story, but they actually hold other layers to them. And what wound up being, this is going to be a weekend project of 20,000 words, just for those of you who are just learning about writing or reading or anything. 25,000 words is approximately 100 pages, give or take. The average printed page is somewhere between 250 and 300 words. So that's a ballpark. I was going to make like a 100-page, hour-long read. And instead, it's turned into a spiraling narrative. So I ended that first book, that's right now gathering dust, on about 50,000 words, which is average novella length. And then I'm now working on the second book, which still has not hit the meat of the story. I am about 25,000 words in, almost 30,000. So it's actually 28,000 words, almost 30,000. And I still haven't gotten to the major explosive action arc that I'm looking for, even though we are getting some extreme transgressive violations going on to some named characters. There are something like at least 10, possibly 20, maybe even more named main characters. You have multiple arcs that are converging into one that causes these explosions of chaos, essentially. It's a very chaotic story. So you have one group of horror writers, you have another group of furries, you have a group of sentient toddlers, essentially, you have a group of sentient animals, and then you have a group of psychotic furries that are zoo sadists, the zoophile zoo sadists. So if you know what those words mean, this is the kind of book that I'm writing. So you have all of these factions, these 5 different factions that are converging into one location, and it's getting violent, of course, because they're already violent, and it's a reflection on the violence in media and its conversation on that. But before I get too big-winded or anything, I just wanted to give a breakdown. Whenever I say A Pack of Wolves, I'm talking about a book inside of this, what is looking to possibly be a trilogy, but it is at least a 2-part series. So yeah, The Day a Pack of Wolves on Viagra Go to a Daycare, nice Fall Out Boy song title, is the name of this book, is a literary transgressive extreme novel that is a meta-narrative on violence in media by being violence in media. So it's critiquing itself as it exists. It's satirical, it's philosophical, it's transgressive, it is hopefully splatterpunk, I guess. I'm not trying necessarily to be a splatterpunk author. That's not, a badge I wear or anything. I just can't imagine why we want our violence to be sanitized. So yeah, in any case, I can talk more about my writing philosophies or anything that may or may not be of interest, but I just realized that I keep talking about A Pack of Wolves without ever telling anybody what A Pack of Wolves are, and maybe 4 or 5 people actually know of this project at this point. So if you're following, for whatever reason, you see me and you think, wow, that looks like an interesting man that talks about book stuff. You're maybe not wrong, but now you know what I'm talking about. So until next time, yeah, that's A Pack of Wolves.